الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. And before we start, inshallah, with the al-Ajrumiyya that we're supposed to do on Tuesday, we have enough time, inshallah ta'ala. As I wanted to mention that before we continue, the next chapter that we're about to read is basically summary to what has been mentioned before. So everyone should study, inshallah ta'ala, from the beginning to where we stopped, and to finish the homeworks. You know, we're going through the book of Tuhfa Saniyya. So it has questions after each chapter. So all of these questions need to be answered, all of it, inshallah. No books in your in a Word document, doesn't matter. Just finish it, inshallah ta'ala, so that ready for the next session, inshallah, which is supposed to be Tuesday, inshallah. We continue from Kitab al-Hayd, and we stopped at what he said, wal-Mubtada'a. But I'll read just the matn of al-Zad from the beginning of the chapter that we already covered, when he said, باب الحيض لا حيض قبل 9 سنين ولا بعد 50 ولا مع حمل وأقله يوم وليلة وأكثره 15 وغالبه 6 أو 7 وأقل الطهر بين حيضتين 13 ولا حد لأكثره وتقضي الحائض الصوم للصلاة ولا يصحان منها بل يحرمان ويحرم وطئها في الفرج فإن فعل فعليه دينار أو نصفه كفارة ويستمتع منها بما دونه وإذا انقطع الدم ولم تغتسل لم يبح غير الصيام والطلاق. This is where we stopped. Then we continue by the subject of al-Mubtada'a. Al-Mubtada'a, this is, as you see in the book, this is in the Z. The hukm of the Mubtada'a, the ruling of the one that is Mubtada'a. From Bada'a, when you initiate something, when you start something, and this is with a ta' marbuta at the end, that means it refers to the female that she got the first cycle. This is her first menses. How to distinguish it, how to get her 'ada, the days, how to basically to when to stop or not to make the salah and the siyam. So this is what we're going to read now, inshallah ta'ala, and the way that it's to be figured out, her 'ada, her cycle, and how many days, and where to stop the salah, and how to and when to resume, whether she has a 'ada or a period of or a set of days that she gets used to it every month, versus with a tamiz, someone might not have a set days every month, but she's able to distinguish between the different types of blood, or the third kind that she doesn't have neither. So what's the ruling for each one? And what we're going to read, inshallah ta'ala, the way to figure that out, it's from the mufradat of the madhab of Imam Ahmad. That means the majority of the jumhur are in a different way. And that's the jumhur is what the fatwa of the ulama is upon. And also another riwayah from Imam Ahmad. I'm saying that before we started so that it's clear. And it's another riwayah also from Imam Ahmad, and Imam al-Muwaffaq, he took that opinion, which it's much easier even to understand than this one. And the reason why that in the madhab, and this is from the mufradat of the madhab, that this is only in madhab Imam Ahmad, it's because of a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that he mentioned al-'ada, or what she's used to. So someone, this is her first time ever to have her cycle. She's not used to it. So when does she figure out the 'ada, or what is she used to when it comes to the days? This is what is going to be mentioned. So hopefully, inshallah ta'ala, we can understand it. He says here, I would read first az-Zad. وَالْمُبْتَدَأَةُ تَجْلِسُ أَقَلَّهُ ثُمَّ تَغْتَسِلُ وَتُصَلِّ. Everybody's paying attention? And they always say, the ulama, they say this is one of the most difficult chapters because, you know, when men are speaking, and also the some of the things in it, but it's easy, inshallah. So now we know what al-Mubtada'a is. This is someone that is, for example, 9 years old, 10 years old, 15 years old. This is her first time ever. وَالْمُبْتَدَأَةُ In the sharh it says أي في زمن يمكن أن يكون حيضا. مبتدأ that means she saw the blood. In zaman, in a time that is valid to be hayd, because if she saw blood, for example, when she's very old, then it's not hayd. If she sees it when she's very young, that's not hayd, that's not menses. So it has to be in the time where it's feasible for her to have hayd or menses around the age of puberty. So في زمن يمكن feasible valid أن يكون حيضا وهي التي رأت الدم. So المبتدأ is the one that saw the dam. الدم is the blood. ولم تكن حاضت, and she never had haid before. She never had it before. So this is the first time. See? So what is the ruling for her? تجلس. The word تجلس literally means to sit down. And this is not what is meant. تجلس, that means she stays away from salah. تجلس here, that means she takes the rulings of the woman when she has her menses. She does not make salah, she does not make fast, she does not make siyam, and no relations with her husband. And the fasting are to be made up, the days if it's days of fard of Ramadan. But the salah, she does not make up the days of the salah. So the word tajlis, this is what it means. Not literally that she would sit down, meaning that she stays away from the ibadah that is obligatory upon her. In other than the days of the menses. So تجلس أي, he says that in the explanation, أي تدع الصلاة, she leaves the salah, والصيام ونحوهما, and the like of that, like touching the mushaf and tawaf, and the things that are forbidden, which is going to, or was mentioned before, that is forbidden for the woman in her menses. ونحوهما بمجرد رؤيته. So this is the first time. Once she sees it, then she abstains from the salah and the fasting. That means all of the rulings of al-hayd applies on her. Can I just say al-hayd, not saying anything, not translated anymore? So al-hayd, we know what al-hayd means. So once al-hayd comes, this is the menses. وَنَحْوَهُمَا بِمُجَرَّدْ رُؤْيَتِهِ. Once she sees the blood, وَلَوْ أَحْمَرْ أَوْ صُفْرَ أَوْ كُدْرَ, whether it's red or yellow or in between, right? Kudra, that means not red, not yellow, something in between, brownish. It doesn't matter because the differences between the colors matters later. So again, focusing here that this is the first height. This is the first height. So the color doesn't matter. So any color will be treated as height. This is the first time ever. It will be treated as height once she sees it. أقله, that means تجلس أقله, that means she would be in that state of al-hayd, the minimum amount, the minimum days of hayd, which was mentioned before, أي أقل الحيض يوما وليلة. He said that the minimum days of al-hayd is 1 day and 1 night, which is 24 hours, not less than that. So if she sees the blood and it goes away and she's clean within 24 hours before the 24 hours ends, that's not hayd. It has to be 24 hours and more. And we talked about it before. What's the minimum? يوم وليلة, 24 hours. The maximum is 15. Anything beyond 15, it's not hayd. She has to make salah and she has to clean with the rulings of it. And if you have any questions, inshallah, at the end, so that we follow the words here. So this is her first time. So once she sees the blood, then she stays away from the salah and so on. أقله, أقل الحيض, which is day and night. Then after the day and night, it doesn't matter whether the blood still coming or not. This is the mubtada. ثم تغتسل. Then she takes a shower after 24 hours. After 24 hours, she takes a shower. The blood is still coming, it doesn't matter. She takes a shower because she doesn't have a ada yet. This whole thing is about that she doesn't have a ada. She doesn't have a cycle. So we're not sure. And that's why the salah should not be abandoned when there is doubt. So that's why to eliminate the doubt, to be only doing things based on certainty, after the 24 hours, she will take a shower. ثم تغتسل. Why? As in the sharh, لأنه آخر حيضها حكما. This is her last the zaman or the time of al-hayd for her, hukman, ruling wise, because she doesn't have a cycle yet. So it will be treated as if Her haid is only يوم وليلة, which is the minimum time for haid. Clear? وتصلي وتصوم ولا توطأ. So she would make salah, even though there's still blood coming, yes. She would make salah because after the day and night, which we know that this is the minimum, after that it might be something else. It might be haid, it might be not haid. So that's why she would make salah and she would fast, but not having relations. ولا توطأ, that means does not have relations with her husband. So this is ثم تغتسل لأنه آخر حيضها حكما. We're not, because we don't know yet. وتصلي وتصوم ولا توطأ. Then فإن انقطع دمها لأكثره. If her dam, the blood انقطع, that means stopped. لأكثره, the ضمير here, the ha refers to the haid, to the maximum days of al-haid. What's the maximum days of haid? 15 days. أي أكثر الحيض 15 يوما فما دون. فما دون, and dun here with the dhamma, فما دون, to stop there so that you don't attach it to a word afterward. بضم النون لقطع عن الإضافة. Because when you say فما دون, usually you would find a word after it. فما دون ذلك, فما دون this. No, فما دون, that means 15 or less. That's what it meant. So that means she's mubtada, she start having or seeing the blood. If the blood stopped by 15 days or less, اغتسلت عند انقطاعه. She would take another shower. اغتسلت عند انقطاعه, when the blood stops. So in her case, you would have two ghusl. One after 24 hours, and then she start making salah. And then the second ghusl is when the blood stops. And that's, she's clean from damul hayd. He says the second one, أيضا, she would take the second shower, ghusl, wujuban, as an obligation, because now she's clean after the hayd, and this is an obligation for every woman at the end of al-hayd, that she has to take a shower before she can make the salah. He says لصلاحيته أن يكون حيضها, because this is valid, الصلاحية, that means she might have her cycle as 15 days. We don't know yet that this can be her hayd. وتفعل كذلك في الشهر الثاني والثالث. And she does the same thing in the second month and the third month. Why 3 months? Because that's what makes the matter a cycle. Before that, it's not known if it's a habit or not. Once it becomes 3 months, then we know that this is the days that she has for her cycle. So فإن تكرر الدم ثلاثا, if the blood تكرر, repeated 3 times, أي في 3 أشهر, in 3 months, ولم يختلف, and there was no differences whatsoever, فهو كله حيض. Now all of it is حيض. وتثبت عادتها, and then her عادة becomes established. She knows now her عادة is how many days. So before we continue, and bear with me, inshallah. So it's easy, right? So if she saw the blood, in many cases can be applied. If she saw the blood, and after 24 hours, the blood is still coming, but she took a shower and she started making salah. This is the first time ever she got the cycle. Then in that first month, the blood stopped after 7 days. So then she takes a shower and she makes her salah and ibadah, everything is fine. Then the next month, she needs to be watchful of not just when the blood will come, when the hayd will come. There is the time and the numbers are both to be considered according to this. So meaning, if she got her menses in the 5th day of the month, Hijri calendar, right? So then the next month, it has to come again on the 5th. Then the next month, she needs to check what day the cycle will come, the hayd will come. If it comes the next month, the ideal situation, the 5th, right? And after 24 hours in the second month, she would make ghusl, she would take a shower, and she started making salah. The first month was 7 days, right? So the second month, after 7 days, it's stopped. Then she takes a shower and she make her salah normal. Still the ada is not there. The third month, if the blood comes, if the hayd comes on the 5th again, right? And for 7 days and it stops, it comes in the 5th, she takes a shower after 24 hours, and then after the 7 days it stopped. Now she knows her عادة. This is her عادة. What is her عادة? That it comes every month on the 5th, and it's 7 days. This is the عادة in both the time and the numbers. If you want it to be more complicated, we can, because it's a very complicated issue according to this, right? So this is clear. If, let's give an example. If the first month let's start with the beginning of the month to make it easy. It came in the first day of the month, Hijri month, right? The first cycle, the first height. And after 24 hours, she took a shower, and then after that, it was 7 days, right? And then the next month, it started the second day, right? It started the second day. You have to be paying attention, because I might lose it myself. So you have to pay attention. What are we saying here? I don't have it already set, this example. She started the second day of the month, the next cycle, and she finishes the 8th. Okay, so 1 day shifted. And the third month, she started the 3rd, and she finishes the 9th. So what from the 3 months, the same days that were consistent? Is the first day consistent? No. So the first day is not from her عادة, because it needs 3 consecutive months, right? If it's 2 months and then it missed, that's not her عادة. That's not her. So the عادة means the cycle, right? The second day, in this case, also it's not 3 times. The third day is a cycle. So the 3rd, the 4th is cycle, 5th, 7th, and that's it. So now she has these 4 days as عادة, a cycle. Anything else other than these 4 days has to pass 3 consecutive months to add it to the cycle, right? To add it to the cycle. For example, she stayed for a year, her cycle is 6 days. Then after a year, it becomes 7 days. 1 month is 7 days. Is that 7th day is part of her cycle? The first time that happens, no. So that means after the 6 days, she would take a shower and she would make her salah, but not having relations, right? Because there's still blood. And that 1 day, she's going to pay attention to that 1 day. The next month, right? She has her 6 days. The 7th day come again. So now 2 months, 7. If it comes in the 3rd month, then it's عادة. Then her عادة now is 7, not 6 anymore. So it has to be 3 months, one after the other, if she has a عادة. So this is how to develop or to get to recognize that she has a عادة. She has a set cycle with the day and the numbers of days. Is it clear? We can make it even more complicated, but this is for now. Let's see here. فإن انقطع دمها لأكثره. Now it's up to all the way to 15, because some women, they might have the menses up to 15 days. فما دون, if it's 15 or less. اغتسلت عند انقطاعه أيضا وجوبا, as we mentioned. وتفعل ذلك في الشهر الثاني والثالث. فإن تكرر الدم 3, if it's 3 times, أي في 3 أشهر ولم يختلف, was no difference. This is what is no difference. The same with the day and the numbers of days. فهو كله حيض. All of it is حيض. وتثبت عادتها, and her عادة is now firm and it's established. فتجلسه في الشهر الرابع. Now the 4th month comes. Now she knows her عادة. فتجلسه. What تجلسه means? She stays away from she treats it as حيض. That means no salah and so on, for the days that already been repeated for 3 months. ولا تثبت بدون 3. This is what the madhab is upon. ولا تثبت. What's تثبت here? Firm is the عادة. The عادة, the cycle, is not established in less than 3 months. Has to be 3 months. That makes it a cycle. Or another cycle. I guess the word is not cycle. What's عادة? The habit or the norm? So the norm is not established till after 3 months. وتقضي ما وجب فيه. Now, the first month and the second month, she was not yet realizing what's her عادة. what's her days. And she took a shower after 24 hours. And after that, she was fasting if it was Ramadan and she was making salah. But then after the third month, she already established that these days were ada. So in the example that we mentioned earlier, the fourth day, which is for sure is from ada, right? The fourth day of the month from that previous example. It is from her ada, from her norm, from her days of menses. So in the fourth month, she realized, خلاص, it's firm. It confirmed that this is the fourth is from her ada. But the first month and the second month, she was fasting, or the first month, maybe for example, she was fasting Ramadan on that day. She has to make up that day because she was in menses and she was not clean. But when did she know that? In the fourth month. So she go back and see anything that needs to be made up, which is only fasting, because salah, if she made salah, she was not for sure. So there's nothing to be made up. It's only the fasting if it's an obligatory fast. Clear? So that's what he says here. وَتَقْضِي مَا وَجَبَ فِي, to make up مَا وَجَبَ, what was an obligation in these days of the first and the second. أي ما صامت فيه من واجب, whatever she fasted, and this was wajib. وكذا ما طافته, or she made tawaf. If she made tawaf for Umrah, for example, that tawaf is not valid. She needs to make that tawaf again. أو اعتكفته فيه, or she made اعتكاف واجب. If it's a wajib اعتكاف on her, like nadhr, she made a vow that she would make i'tikaf or something, so that doesn't count. She has to make it again. Clear? So she would go back, and these days, that was in the days of a shak, she was in doubt, she would make up these days. وإن ارتفع حيضها ولم يعد. وإن ارتفع, now this is in the case where she is mubtada. We're still talking about the mubtada. She had her first hayd, and she, say for example, she got it for 6 days, the first month, and then after that, nothing else, nothing afterwards. The next month, no hayd. Second month, third month, no hayd, nothing whatsoever. So this is وإن ارتفع حيضها. حيضها ارتفع, lifted up. That means she does not have any menses anymore. ولم يعد, did not come back. So this is number one. Or أو أيست قبل التكرار. أيست, al-iyas is to give up, which is the word used when a woman reaches her age of menopause, or which was mentioned before, 50 years, according to the mother, 50 years old. And some women, of course, they have more than that. But أو أيست قبل التكرار. That means if the blood start, or the hayd start coming after 50 years old, that's not hayd. So this is أو أيست قبل التكرار, before it's repeated. لم تقضي, she would not make qada here. In this case, she would not make qada for these days because it came once and it didn't come back. That means we know that it's not hayd, it was just something else. Please? And then he says وإن عبر أي جاوز الدم أكثره. عبر, العبور is to go across. So عبر means أي جاوز الدم, the blood passed, أكثره, most of it. Most of what? Most of al-hayd, which is 15 days. So if the blood is more than 15 days continuously, أي أكثر الحيض, most of the hayd, فهي مستحاضة. Then in this case, then she get the rulings of al-mustahada. She's mustahada, not hayd. The mustahada is a normal blood, different rulings, and that to be start to explaining it now. All of what we mentioned again this is from mufradat al-madhab, madhab Imam Ahmad, because of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, when he said to when tajlisu adataha, the Prophet ﷺ said to stay in her ada. So the ada is to be established this way. The jumhur, the majority of the ulama, the other madhab, and riwayah from Imam Ahmad. Imam Ahmad himself also has another narration, and the ulama of the Hanabila, that that is not to be done, but rather it's, she has blood, she stays away from the salah, she's clean, then she makes her salah, right? From the first month. So if the first month she saw the blood for 7 days, then she stays away from the salah. The next month, 8 days, she stays away from the salah, as long as it's not more than 15. And as long as this is to her best of ability, this is menses. And this way is to make sure, and this is the opinion here. If it's more than 15 months, 15 days, I'm sorry, if it's more than 15 days, then it's mustahada. Called mustahada from al-hayd. That means she's not in the hayd, but mustahada, this is normal blood. And it has its own ruling because she has to make salah in the time of al-istihada. So then he goes into the details of al-istihada. Any questions in this so far? What we said, is it clear? I'm sorry? You see, I'm sorry, whatever. Go ahead, go ahead. For the divorce, for the iddah. Now, for the iddah is, right, if it's less than 3 months. Yeah, 3 months. The iddah, after the iddah for divorce, if a woman is divorced and her menses stopped or she doesn't have menses, which is as mentioned in the Quran, وَاللَّائِ لَمْ يَحِضْ فعدتهن 3 أشهر. 3 months, not with the menses, but 3 months. You have something. She still wait until the blood stops to wash? Yeah. Yes. The first time it happens, she takes 2 ghusl. One after 24 hours and one after the blood finishes. So the first shower, she would make salah and fasting, but not relations with her husband. And then after the blood stops, then this is the shower where she's cleaned and everything is to be done afterwards. For the 3 months. For the first wasn't that for 24 hours? آخر نعم لأنه آخر حيضها حكمة. This is the last of her hayd in حكم wise, not in reality. Because this is the first month, her hayd might be 7 days. But as far as the ruling that applies for her, it's only 1 day and 1 night because we don't know yet. So this is for sure is 1 day and 1 night because hayd cannot be less than that. So that's why the hukm on it, not that she has her menses only 24 hours. Because someone would say, why would she take a shower after 24 hours when the blood is still coming and she's not finished with it? This is hukman. This is not to say that she's done with her menses. It's just a hukman, a ruling wise to make sure because afterwards is still in doubt because she did not develop a ada yet or a habit or a norm yet. Now the mustahada, with what we mentioned before, mustahada and mubtada'a, this is even more complicated, right? If it's mustahada and mubtada'a. If it's mustahada and she has ada, because the mustahada is the one that has blood that comes not in the days of menses or more than 15 days. If it's mu'tada, if she has already her norm established 7 days, and then she sees the blood in a month 10 days, then it's mustahada, the extra days is istihada. But the problem is if she's mubtada'a the very first time and she's mustahada. This is now you put both together and then you come up with, as we will hear inshallah. So he says here, والاستحاضة, the definition of الاستحاضة سيلان الدم في غير وقته. Sayalan is the flow of the blood in other than its time. So it's not the normal time of the cycle. من العرق العاذل من أدنى الرحم. From العرق is the vein. العاذل the word العاذل العذل with a ذال, not with a dal. Linguistically means the blamed one. Because she become in a state where she doesn't know what to do, especially if she's married. She's to be with her husband and not to be with her husband. So it becomes like she feels blamed or whatever. So that's why they call it al-irq al-adil. Right? This is how they call it. Min adna rahim, from the closer part of the womb, and not duna qa'rihi. Al-qa'r is the deeper part of it. So regardless, as we said, some of the things in the books of fiqh from the long time ago, they would mention in the shuruhat something that is well known at their time. But that's not with an evidence in the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. They would say where that blood come from. So according to what they've known then. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't change any of the ruling. So this is, again, the definition of it. سَيْلَانُ الدَّمِ فِي غَيْرِ وَقْتِ. the flow of the blood in other than the days of the menses. This is for those who knows the days of the menses. But if she doesn't know, then it's a different type of blood, because the damul haydi aswad thakhin, it's dark, it's thick, has a smell to it. But the damul istihada is a normal blood. So if she's able to differentiate, then it's a very obvious thing. So this is where then it comes afterwards. I'm not sure if we, let's see, Bismillah. فإن كان I'll read first the Z. فإن كان بعض دمها أحمر وبعضه أسود ولم يعبر أكثر ولم ينقص عن أقل فهو حيضها. Now, this blood in that state of al-istihada, إن كان لها تمييز. The word تمييز, if she's able to differentiate between the different types of blood. And the word تمييز here in this context, that means there are more than one type of blood. Not one type only, not one color only. She sees more than one different blood. This is what the تمييز means. فإن كان لها تمييز بأن كان, what is the تمييز? بعض دمها أحمر, some of the blood is red, وبعضه أسود, and some of it is black, dark. So some of it is red and some of it is dark. Meaning not mixed together, because if it's mixed together, it gives a different color. So some days, this is what is meant. So she has the zaman al-hayd, or the days of al-hayd. Some days red and some days black or dark color. So this is tamiz. So she's able to differentiate between two different types of blood. This is one condition. ولم يعبر, did not go beyond, يجاوز الأسود, the dark one did not go beyond أكثر, go beyond the maximum days of al-hayd, which is 15 days. أي أكثر الحيض. So the dark one was less than 15. So she has blood coming down for 20 days. For sure, this is not hayd. If she's able to differentiate between two types of colors of blood. So the black one, the very dark one, is 10 days. And 10 days red. So now we know that this 10 is hayd and the other 10 is istihada, not hayd. That means she has to make salah and everything else. So this is as long as the aswad or the dark does not go beyond the 15 days. ولم ينقص عن أقله. Also with the tamiz, the dark one was not less than 24 hours. So if she sees the dark one for few hours and then days red, that's not tamiz, because it has to be at least day and a night. ولم ينقص عن أقله فهو, if that's the case, فهو, that means أي الأسود, this dark one, حيضها, this is her height. We're talking here about a مبتدأة that does not know a عادة for her. She is not establishing a عادة, but she sees differences in blood because it's taken more than 15 days. So if she's able to differentiate, then, and one is darker than the other, then what is dark, and if it's less than 15, then it's hayd. And the rest is istihada, which is basically nothing, but we'll talk about how to deal with the istihada. And also, وكذا, the same thing, إذا كان بعضه ثخينا أو منتنا وصلح حيضا. So it's all part of the tamiz. The tamiz can be with the color. Here, it might be the color is the same, but one is كان بعضه ثخينا. الثخين is the thick. And the other one is not thick. So in few days it's thick, and other days it's what's the opposite of thick? Thin. Right? So that means this is tamiz. So this is different types of blood. أو منتنا. Muntinan, al-muntin is the one that has a bad smell. So one has a bad smell, one doesn't have a bad smell. So one is hayd and one is normal blood. وصلح حيضا, but with these two, and it's valid to be hayd. It's valid to be hayd, not something else. So what should she do in this case? تجلسه في الشهر الثاني. Then she would ولم ينقص عن أقله فهو حيضها تجلسه. If that's the case, or the one that we mentioned, and this is, she's mubtada, this is the first month she saw it like this, then in the second month, she doesn't have to wait for the third month in this case, because she has tamiz. She, from the first month, she's able to differentiate between two types or 2 colors of blood. So that means in the second month right away تجلسه في الشهر الثاني. See, she would treat the darker one, which already she got it in the first month. For the second month, she treats that as height. Because now she's able to differentiate or distinguish between the 2 different types of blood. تجلسه في الشهر الثاني ولو لم يتكرر أو يتوالى, even if it's not repeated, because we have tamyiz now. We have the ability to see the difference between both. تجلسه في الشهر الثاني والأحمر, and as for the red أو الرقيق, the thin one, أو غير المنتن, or the one that doesn't have a bad smell, استحاضة. Then it becomes استحاضة, دم استحاضة, which is دم عرق, it's just normal blood. تصوم فيه وتصلي. She fasts in it and she makes the salah. And then we're not done yet. وإن لم يكن دمها متميزا. Now, if she doesn't have tamyiz, and we'll go to the first case, right? We're talking here about istihada. That means the blood is going beyond the 15 days. Because if it's not beyond the 15 days, it's the first way that we talked about, the 3 months, right? But here we're talking about al-istihada. That means it's taken more than 15 days, or there's different types of blood. So if it's neither, وإن لم يكن دمها متميزا, she's not able to distinguish between the different types of blood, جلست عن الصلاة ونحوها أقل الحيض. Then in that case, she would stay away from the salah and the like of it. أقل الحيض, what's أقل الحيض? The minimum of al-hayd is 24 hours, day and night. من كل شهر, every month. Till it's repeated 3 times. حتى يتكرر 3. فتجلس, like what the first case, remember? But then she doesn't have, the blood keeps coming. So after the 3 months, it's not 6 or 7 days anymore. It's more than 15. So she would do what in this case? The first month, day and night. Take a shower, make salah. Second month, and there's no second shower, right? Because the blood keeps on coming. The second month, day and night, and she makes her shower and she makes her salah. The third day, day and night, and she makes her shower and she continues with her salah. Then afterwards, what to do with the 4th month? فتجلس غالب الحيض 6 أو 7 بتحري. For that case, in that case, she does not have a عادة, she doesn't have a norm, and she does not have a tamyiz. Is it clear? So in the 4th month, in this case, she would then treat herself with the haid at 6 or 7 days. بتحرن. بتحرن, that means with investigation. What is investigation? She asked the ladies in her family. What is the norm of the ladies of her family? Most of them 6 days, then she's 6 days. Because she's not able to know what is the cut off time for the height for her, because she's never clean. She's constantly having blood. So then in that case, 6 أو 7 بتحرن من كل شهر, every month. من أول وقت ابتدائها إن علمته. From the very first day that she knew, the first time she got the menses was the first of the month, and then did not stop afterwards. Then every month, the first of the month, this is where her menses starts for 6 days, if it's decided to be 6 days, or 7 days, if it's decided to be 7 days. وإلا فمن أول كل هلالي. If she does not remember when did it start, then to start the menses from every beginning of a lunar month. This is again in the case where there's no tamyiz and there's no عادة. So now this is the mubtada. So is it clear? Again with the mustahada, mubtada'a, not mustahada, and mubtada'a mustahada. Mubtada'a, and she's the blood stops. Al-mustahada is mubtada, someone that her first time ever having haid and the blood doesn't stop. Is it clear? Should we repeat it again? Very quickly. The first case, mubtada'a and not mustahada, mubtada'a. The first time ever get her cycle, get her haid. She, for 24 hours, she abstained from the salah. She's in state of haid. After the 24 hours, she takes a shower and she makes salah. The blood finishes, stops at whatever time. That means she's not mustahada, the blood stops. Then she takes a second shower, say after 5 days, after whatever. She takes a second shower and now she's clean and she makes her salah. The second month, right, after 24 hours, she takes her shower and she makes her salah, and then she sees how many days where the blood stops. Whenever it stops, she takes another shower and she makes her salah. The third month, she do the same thing. If it's repeated exactly the same way, now she knows her ada. She has a ada, she has a norm, because the blood starts and ends. And it starts and ends, and it's repeated 3 times. And to know the ada, it has to be repeated 3 times to get to know her norm. As long as it's less than 15 days. Clear? المبتدأ المستحاضة. No. Yeah, the first time comes. The first time established as that, but as long as it's repeated 3 times. No. المستحاضة المبتدأ مستحاضة. That means she's not haid. The blood doesn't stop. The first time she get her haid, no stop. So after 24 hours, the first month, she would, and that means it doesn't stop. That means it goes beyond the 15 days. So the first month, she doesn't know yet if she's mustahada or not. She, after 24 hours, she takes a shower again and she makes her salah. But then second day, third day, fourth day, fixed, and it keeps on going. 15 day, it doesn't work this way. So she has to stop and to make salah. This is the second case. If she's able to differentiate 2 different types of blood while that is happening, one was dark and then it started getting red. So then once that dark stops and the red starts, this is the cutoff line for her, right? And then she would make her salah and so on. If she's not able to differentiate, it's all black or it's all one color, that means no tamyiz, no distinguishing between 2 different types. Then in that case, at the 15th, she would stop and she would take a shower and she would make her ibadah normally. After the second, in this case with the mustahada, she won't wait for 3 months. Immediately the second month, either she has tamyiz, then the tamyiz that she saw in the first month was the dark one, was for 7 days. So now the second month, 7 days, because now she's able to differentiate. If she is not able to differentiate, there's no differences, then in the second month, she would basically ask her family or whatever, but this in this case, the third case, if she doesn't have tamyiz, she would wait for 3 months. And then she would ask, what is the norm? And then she would make it 6 or 7. Clear? This is for al-mustahada al-mubtada'a. So if you read the book and if you don't take notes, it might be very difficult to remember this. But make sure that you remember it, inshallah. But then after that, al-mustahada al-mu'tada. Al-mu'tada is what's mu'tada? From al-aud, something keeps on coming. So she's used to, she knows her days and everything, like everything is established for her. But then something happened, and she started to have damul istihada, blood more than 15 days or different blood, or more than her ada. So a woman established her ada 6 days, as we said. If a month comes and she see the blood 7 days, according to what we're saying here, the 7th day is istihada. Unless it's repeated 3 times, then she added to her ada. Clear? So that's why, if we finish this one and see if there's any questions, or we can, let's read it quickly and see what happens. والمستحاضة المعتادة التي تعرف شهرها, she knows her month, ووقت حيضها, she knows the time of her haid, وطهرها منه, she knows the day where she usually purified from it. ولو كانت مميزة, even if she's مميزة and be able to distinguish between the 2 different bloods, تجلس عادتها, she has a عادة. So she, in her ada, the 6 days that she has already established as her ada, the days of al-hayd, this is hayd. She tajlis, that means she's not making salah and fasting and so on. Then after these 6 days, which is her ada, if 6 days were her ada, ثم تغتسل بعدها وتصلي. Then after that, she makes ghusl and she makes salah. Okay, and then the extra is istihada, because she knows her ada, she knows her norm. وإن نسيتها, if she forgot her ad, she forgot whether it's 6 or 7, when does it start? عملت بالتمييز الصالح. She would act based on the تمييز, distinguishing, but it has to be تمييز صالح. صالح means what? Not righteous. Means valid to be تمييز. Because not any تمييز is تمييز. What does that mean? بألا ينقص الدم الأسود ونحوه عن يوم وليلة. If, let's take it with an example. If she sees dark blood for 6 hours, the first thing that she saw, dark hour for 7 hours. And then for the rest of the 16 days, it's red. Is that tamiz? No. A person will say, but yeah, that's tamiz. She saw dark and then red. It is tamiz linguistically, but is it tamizun salih? No. Because the tamiz salih has to be valid to be hayd. Valid to be hayd. Less than 24 hours is not valid to be hayd. So it's not called tamiz. So now it takes us back to the word tamiz, and that's why in fiqh, the precision of understanding and wordings are very important, right? So the word tamiz here for the mumayyiza, when we read in the books of fiqh, what do they mean by tamiz? Tamiz distinguishing two different types of blood as long as it's valid to be hayd. Otherwise it's not tamiz. So بألا ينقص الدم الأسود ونحوه عن يوم وليلة ولا يزيد على 15 ولو تنقل أو لم يتكرر, even it moves away or not repeated. But as long as it's not more than 15. So it doesn't have to be repeated. 1 month is like this, 1 month is like that, as long as it's not less than 24 hours and it's not more than 15. And there is tamiz. So if there is tamiz, then this is clear. If فإن لم يكن لها تمييز صالح, if she did not have the ability or she's not seeing any differences, ونسيت عدده, and she forgot the days of her menses, ووقته, and the time of it, عدد ووقت, the beginning of the month, 5th of the month, and so on, and she forgot the numbers of days, and this is already, she used to be معتادة before, فغالب الحيض, then she would stay away from the norm of الحيض, which is تجلس من أول كل مدة علم الحيض فيها وضاع موضعه, from the beginning of where she used to have her haid, the 5th of the month every month. So then she stays without salah and so on for 6 days if it was her menses, 6 days. If she forgot that, وإلا فمن أول كل هلالي. If she forgot, then from the beginning of every lunar month. This is mustahada, that means the blood doesn't stop. كالعالمة بموضعه, so she will be treated as if she knows its time, its place. أي موضع الحيض, or the position of الحيض. الناسية لعدده, the one that forgot the numbers of days, فتجلس غالب الحيض في موضعه, she would stay away from الحيض in its place. So either she forgot the time, then it's from the beginning of the month, and if she forgot the numbers of days, then she goes to the norm of the days. There are more to come, but it's good to stop in the middle here without finishing this part so that we can review it and go back again to it next time, inshallah. We'll start, inshallah, next time from al-Mustahada al-Mu'tada. Okay? Al-Mustahada al-Mu'tada. So read it again, study it, inshallah, and make sure that it's clear. And then we can do that, inshallah. Let's see if there's any questions. طب here's the question. For establishing the عادة, are we using lunar months? The answer is yes. Always, any months are mentioned in the Shara is the lunar months. Whether it's in start and the end of the month, in the عادة, and so on. As far as the actions are concerned, right, a person might see this as this is, that's why when we're studying that, there are 2 ways people now are doing things when it comes to fiqh. And both ways as a start is correct. And when we study fiqh, we study from the book. We study from the book of the madhab. But then some people, they stay with whatever is in the madhab, then they develop ta'assub prejudice, and that's the thing, and nothing else is wrong, regardless of evidences and dalils and so on, versus those who would take this as a way to study. And then when a person reaches a level where he's able to differentiate between the statements of the ulama and which is yes, after years and years, yes, sure. or at least to imitate. There's nothing wrong with those who they trust the knowledge and the religion, those who are not prejudiced to only what is mentioned. But if someone doesn't have the knowledge and he follows that, mashallah, and everything has basis to it. The ulama, they did not make these opinions based on nothing, as we said here, but it's again so that the issue of a ta'assub, we stay away from it, inshallah. Is any variation in the 3 months? Then the iddah is according to what is common to all 3 months. If there is any variation, as we said, if there is variation in 3 months, that means some days are not 3 months yet, did not get repeated 3 months. Anything to be established as ada, as a norm, it has to be repeated 3 times, 3 months. If it did not get repeated 3 months, that means it's not ada. It's not considered to be ada. And the other opinion, when it comes again to what's practically is done, is which is the other narration in the madhab of Imam Ahmad and the majority of the ulama, is blood of menses, she stays away from the ibadah. No blood of menses, she makes her ibadah, as long as it's not more than 15 days. And if she's able to make tamiz, then what more than her days, then she treated as istihada. Yes, if she has blood for 16 days, either she has tamiz or not, or she has ada or not. So if she sees the blood for 16 days, the women are one of three cases. Either she has ada, her ada is 7 days. So after 7 days, she takes her shower, and then the rest is istihada. Or she doesn't have ada, but she's able to see different types of blood. So, and the blood is tamiz salih. That means it was the dark one till 8 or 7, then she stops and she takes a shower, and the rest is istihada. If she doesn't have none of that, then in that case, she would make it as the norm of her locality or her families or whatever, so it's 6 or 7 days. 16, no. Religiously, even if it's blood of menses, because that means she won't pray most of the month. And there's no such a thing. That's why they said the maximum is 15. And if her ada becomes 15, that's fine. But after that, she has to make salah even with the blood. She has to, as it's going to be mentioned, she takes a shower and then she makes wudu for every salah. Now, in irtafa haidu, that means the haid came 1 month and stopped afterwards. Or if she is أيست قبل التكرار. أيست, that means she reached the age of, is menopause, she still have menses, right? What's the age where there's no menses anymore? What do they call it anymore? Is it menopause? Because menopause, they say it's this transition. Am I wrong or right? I'm not sure. The age where, that's it, it's done. Huh? The age where the woman does not have any more height in the menses. No, what is a terminology for it? Is it menopause? Yeah. But, right. So Ayisat means this is where the age she gave up. That means there's no way that she would have menses, or she's stopped. So if she Ayisat qabla التكرار, that means say she had one before she reached that age, and then nothing afterwards, or the blood came after this age. That's not blood of menses. This is something else. In this case, she would not make up the salah or the ibadah. If the blood starts to come as an initial blood. Yeah, if she has menses, yes, she can. That's what the menses is all about. Yes, because she has the eggs and so on, and that's why it's different from one culture to the other, one age. It's not by a set age. Every woman is different now. As no. Okay, it's easy. Allah. Oh. Oh. Yeah, subhanallah. Inshallah. Right, inshallah. No, صلى الله وسلم وبارك على محمد وصحبه وسلم. سبحانك اللهم ربنا وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.